Okay, let's see if I remember how to do this. Do y'all remember a few years ago when Joe Lacob, the owner of the Golden State Warriors, said,
"What we're doing is light years ahead of any other team. Light years ahead of any other team."
Basically, there's no other team in the NBA who has the talent evaluation, the foresight, the innate ability to not only build a team like we're doing it, but the way to just go out and win the way that we're doing it. But you know, the more you think about it, do they really, at least in terms lately, when it has come to drafting and talent evaluation? And that may not be something Warriors fans want to hear. I just don't want you to be inhaling the fumes of polishing that new trophy so much that you miss what I believe is the reality of the situation. Guys, we need to talk about James Wiseman, and we need to talk about how Steve Kerr and the Warriors just kind of let the cat out of the bag, if you will, about how big of a mistake that James Wiseman's selection was. So let's recap real quick. James Wiseman 2 years ago was selected number 2 overall. LaMelo Ball selected number 3, who this past year was an all-star. Looks like he will have many all-star selections in his future, walking triple-double basically. You even had guys late in the lottery like Tyrese Halliburton. You had guys at the end of first round like Desmond Bane. You had guys like 17 or 18 range, Tyrese Maxey. All of these are players that I think in hindsight we can all agree would have been a much better pick for the Warriors. I think it's one of those things where the Warriors saw James Wiseman and they're like, oh, okay, 7'1", tall, that's good. Athletic, okay, that's really good. This was a guy who, as far as the eye test is concerned, really checked all the boxes. But then you dig a little deeper and it's like, okay, are we sure that this guy really knows how to play basketball? Are we sure that this guy wants to be a winner? Is it just the classic case of, yeah, he's 7 feet tall, so he's playing basketball? And James Wiseman's rookie year, yeah, he had some flashes of, okay, if this guy puts it all together, he could be really good. But I think more often than not, he just wasn't. And that was backed up by what you saw in the box score, but also what you saw on the floor. He looked lost at times, many times. He averaged, like 12 points a game, 5-6 rebounds per game, fouled a ton, didn't really pass, looked lost a lot of times out there. 3-point percentages, nothing spectacular. And add to that, the dude got injured. Didn't even play half a season. So the Warriors were like, all right, we're gonna shut him down, have him ready for next year. Steph will be back from injury. Klay will be back from his Achilles injury. Draymond will be back from, I guess just basically not wanting to play for a 20-win team. And we're gonna have a full year of Andrew Wiggins too. So, we're gonna be back in the playoffs, championship caliber team again. James Wiseman is gonna be, if not our starting center, gonna be contributing in a major way. Well, they got the championship part right, which is good, of course, for the Warriors fans, but James Wiseman did not suit up, did not play at all this past season. You see him practicing, you see health reports about how he's not progressed to 5-on-5 yet, you see how, yeah, he's gonna play, but he never did. And then just within the past week or two, you have Warriors coach Steve Kerr come out and say that Kevon Looney, who has been the starter for the Warriors during their championship run, he's just re-signed to a new contract extension, and you have Steve Kerr say, Kevon has earned the starting job. We're gonna bring him back. We're happy to have him back, and he's gonna be that, help be that defensive anchor for a championship team. Where does that leave James Wiseman? Where does that leave your former number 2 overall pick, who is making over $10 million this year. The Warriors can say all the right things like, yeah, he's going to be a great backup. Guys like Draymond are really going to help him defensively, help him develop into the type of player he can be. We still really believe in him. But, I just don't believe that, guys, because they don't want to make the admission that they really screwed up that pick. They don't want to destroy James Wiseman's confidence more than how it's, likely already been destroyed. This reminds me a lot of the draft when the Grizzlies picked Hasheem Thabeet as the number 2 overall pick. Now, I don't think that James Wiseman is Hasheem Thabeet level bust quite yet. I'm going to give him one more year. That was the draft where Blake Griffin went number 1, James Harden went number 3, the Warriors got Steph Curry that year. But I remember, as a Grizz fan, I remember sitting at home and when they picked Thabeet number 2, I was just sitting, I just went over to the corner and got into my fetal position and just rocked back and forth for probably a good 2 to 3 weeks straight, actually. It would not surprise me if, next offseason or, even before next offseason, if the Warriors do end up trading James Wiseman, because, there's always going to be teams that are also enamored with a guy who's 7 feet tall and who can, really run and dunk. But it seems like when the Warriors are drafting near the top, it's just like, okay, this guy was good in high school. He'll probably be pretty good in the NBA. I mean, you saw it with Jonathan Kuminga when they drafted him in the 2021 draft. But I don't know if there was really a lot of thought that went into that. Because, if you look at that draft, maybe Franz Wagner would have been a better pick. If you look at Moses Moody, who they got at the end of the lottery in that same draft, maybe Alperen Şengün, who was the big man who was drafted a pick later, would have been a better pick. Just imagine 5 years from now, you have a core of LaMelo Ball, Alperen Şengün, we'll even throw Kuminga in there, and maybe Jordan Poole. That's a really nice core as opposed to what you could have in James Wiseman, Kuminga, Poole, and a point guard to be named later after Curry retires. I think the Warriors made a huge mistake with this James Wiseman pick. But hey, let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, or don't. But I will see you next time here on the Half Court Report.